Welcome back. I'm joined by Mark Rucker from the Bourbon Life. Thank you so much for being here and bringing the bourbon as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great to be back.
You're here because it's the start of Bourbon Heritage Month.
It is, that's right.
So talk to me a little bit about that, because it is something as a non-Kentuckian, non-native Kentuckian, I am fascinated by.
Well, you know, bourbon obviously is huge in Kentucky, very important to our industry. 95%, or we like to say 95% of the world's bourbon is produced here in Kentucky. That may have changed a little bit over the last few years, but it's a $9 billion industry in our state. But Bourbon Heritage Month started several years ago just as a way to celebrate bourbon and take a whole month to do it. So there's different events. So each month here in Kentucky, we kind of throw down, have a good time, celebrate our bourbon heritage, and just have some great events to go around with that.
Now, you mentioned before we were talking during the break that you're a native Kentuckian from Eastern Kentucky. How has your experience and your appreciation for bourbon grown over time, and how has the industry grown over time?
Sure. You know, when I was a kid, well, not a kid, I shouldn't say, but when I was a younger adult, you know, growing up, bourbon was just something I think we kind of took for granted just because it was here. It was in Kentucky. Nobody really thought, at least I didn't think much about it. So going to football games, I went to UK, you know, it's a staple. You drink Maker's Mark or Jim Beam or whatever with Coca-Cola. That's the way you did it. As you get older, you develop a more, better palate, I guess you should say. And as I got older, I developed a great appreciation for what bourbon does, what the industry does, the people in the industry, and that's really what the podcast that I do is really